And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Irate Bear and Friends nightly live stream. With me this evening, I have Miss Misa.
Penis.
I also have her friend in the background currently playing on his phone.
Hello.
There we go. We're also going to be joined by Geek Thulu shortly, and we're going to be discussing... there he is. Hello, Geek Thulu.
Hey.
We're going to be discussing Heart's progress, or progress, depending on how you want to...
Oh no, really? We are?
Yes, we are going to discuss it. And I want to get Geek Thulu's perspective on this. I know you've just done a stream speaking about it, Geek, but I want you to sort of project your opinion to my subscribers and to Misa as well.
Okay.
But before we do that, how are you, sir?
Oh well, we started off with the heart progress stuff, and then it went into like child abuse, and then we started sharing our stories of like abusive childhood shit. So our stream got like real heavy.
Oh, okay. Well, let's not try to go down that route. I've only just recovered from another mental breakdown. I'd rather not go down. Thank you very much. But go ahead. If you just want to explain what Heart's progress what it supposedly is, and what your opinion on it is. I just want to point out that Geek Thulu has a theory on Heart progress, and RedSec are currently investigating to see whether it's just a troll or whether it's real. So we don't have the facts yet, so we're just going to give our opinions first. So if you want to go ahead, Geek.
Okay, so Heart Progress is an organization that's trying to co-opt the LGBT community with putting their little P on there. And the P is, of course, for pedosexual. Like their belief is that that being a pedophile or being attracted to children is sort of equivalent to being lesbian, being a gay man, being transsexual. That it's some sort of sexual right that they have. Now with these people, I ran
Can I
into
interject for a second? I do apologize. I know you're giving your opinion on this. Whenever you've heard these people speak regarding being a pedosexual, whatever you want to call it, are they using the typical rhetoric, like the extremely selfish, kids can consent, that type of shit?
Yeah, that's what you see from some of these individuals like James Carter. I can't remember all of their names, and most of their Twitters are gone now. But yeah, their perspective is that much like Omnipolitics 16, his thing was that that they can consent. A child has the ability to consent and feel sexual feelings. So there's nothing abnormal about that relationship in their opinion.
Sick fucks. The thing is that we've heard this rhetoric from quite a few people. We've heard it from the Maps channel, where Jeff Holiday did a live stream response breakdown, and we've heard it from Omnipolitics 16 before, and I think we've heard it from a few others as well that I've seen on Twitter. So yeah, it's disgusting. But with these people, for some reason you have to come at them with fucking oh, for fuck's sake, Rags has a tick. I'm going to take away his wrench if it carries on. It's completely put me off. What the fuck was I saying?
Well, I lost. All I can think of is a check mark now.
Yeah.
Some of them have something. You're about to say some of them have something.
I can't remember. Gig, do you just want to sort of explain your position?
Okay. So my position is I ran into these guys back in March, around the time that I started my channel. There's a guy, Political Monkey, that had said, "Hey, have you seen this shit?" And he showed me showed me like a Twitter post about this heart progress thing, and I kind of was like, oh, that's fucked up. I'm sure plenty of other people on YouTube are probably on it, and I'm a small nobody channel at the time, so what am I going to do about it? So I kind of ignored it, and then eventually the white YouTuber started like going back and forth on with the James Carter guy, and I was like, wow, this guy's really weird. He's got a lot of cultish like language that he uses when he talks. So I was like, this could be an interesting interview. So I want to get an interview with these guys. So I started talking to him and to James Carter, and we're getting everything worked out to do an interview. And he suddenly like goes silent. And this was like after I was like questioning the validity of the movement. Like, are you guys really a thing? Because I'm like not seeing anything. You know, I'm not seeing any types of rallies, marches, any type of major web presence for this movement. And then he just like suddenly just went silent on me. And I started looking in more into their Twitter profiles. And I noticed that a lot of these people that I was interacting with, they all had the same around the same creation date, like February, March for their Twitters. And I was like, well, that's weird. February, March 2017. And these guys are like the mouthpiece on Twitter at the moment. That seems a little strange. So I tried checking this guy James out, and I find nothing on him. Absolutely nothing. Like zero information. I noticed he's from St. Louis, Missouri. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. So I start trying to figure out if this guy's a fake by asking him things about St. Louis, just trying to shoot the shit and kind of ease him into it and make him think, oh, this guy's talking to me as a person. So he'd be more willing to give me information. But he like knew nothing about St. Louis. I made up things, and he was like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. Oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's not real. But I started looking everywhere, and I'm not finding anything. And this is really like, you know, in the back of my head telling me, I think these guys are trolls. And I think they're just trying to trigger people and just get a reaction. Like my final thought on all of this, even still, because a lot of people on Twitter were saying I was defending them because I think they're trolls. I'm defending pedos because I think they're trolls. And all the evidence that they sent back to me is evidence that I can't really go past what they gave me. And
it is extremely suspicious that their Twitter accounts all seem to appear on exactly the same day.
Yeah, like to me,
just with fucking kids.
Hi, Rags.
Well, like it's Pizzagate.
Hello.
all over again.
I as I said to you when you were streaming, I contacted RedSec. I mean, they're the guys who gave me the story on the Blue Whale game, and they are looking into it to see whether it is real, but they think it is a serious thing.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if it's a serious
I'm waiting
thing,
for confirmation. So
yeah, like Kiwi Farms, Encyclopedia Dramatica, even Poll, they all over a vast majority of the people think it's a troll. They don't believe it's a real thing, and to me, either it's a troll or it's a honeypot. You know, it's to suss out the pedophiles and get them to you know, identify themselves.
I get you. That's exactly what RedSec does to hunt pedos down. They do set these honeypots, but they tend to do shit like that on the deep web rather than openly. It's very rare that you see these kind of stuff on Twitter, but I have seen stuff like this on Twitter before. Genuine pedo accounts, not the full Clover bullshit, but actual fucking pedo accounts and that. Because I know people have reported them to Twitter and they had their fucking accounts taken down for it, which is fucked.
Yeah. Did you see that Omnipolitics is making his way back in? He was on a stream with Joy last night.
Apparently, he was arrested not too long ago. But I don't think anything came of it.
Well, do you know what he was arrested for?
I don't know. I imagine he was doxxed, wasn't he?
Isn't he only like 16?
Yeah, I think he's like
Whatever.
16, I think.
Well, I heard that he was like 26 last night. Somebody, because I made that, because Suit Yourself and Takedown Man, if you know who he is, they were talking about like doxing him, and I'm like, I mean, he's a kid, you know.
Yeah, I have
be
a theory. I think someone may have doxed him, and then people might have just called the police and said he was a pedo or some shit, and they probably investigated him. It was probably like a 48-hour thing or something. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can get more information regarding that.
Yeah, Chambers is saying that he's 25.
Oh, so he's not 16 then.
Good, because I love listening to politics from a 16-year-old.
His politics is fucking kids is good.
I figured that 16-year-olds have probably figured everything out that I've missed.
You
His
know who?
actions on Andy Warhol's-
Sorry, Misa Rags. You know who Omnipolitics is, don't you?
Not really.
He's a pedophile, a self-proclaimed pedophile. He doesn't talk about politics. He talks about the politics of being a pedophile and tries to justify it. So he's not talking about, actual politics.
He believes toddlers can experience sexual gratification and sexual feelings.
I don't think they can. Well, I don't know the biology of it. Either way, it doesn't really matter if they can or not.
Yeah, it really doesn't fucking matter because we know for a fact that people who are sexually abused as children go on to suffer severe PTSD and various other things. I mean, Andy Warski, he admitted to being assaulted twice in his childhood, and he had PTSD, and that's where his stutter comes from as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And I know a few other people who have had their experiences as well. Quite a few people online as well, but I won't say anything unless those people want to speak about such a topic themselves. But yeah, I don't know if this is a troll or not. I mean, Red Sex seem to think, if it is a troll, they're a fucking good troll. And I did see something on Twitter from one of their accounts a while back when everyone was sort of arguing with them. One of them was apologizing.
Apologizing for what?
To the rest of the group. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's so hard to find the information because everything's been scrubbed so cleanly, and with a website, the one thing, because I'm being told Amanda Wolfchild and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they helped take down their Twitters and their websites.
Was it Direwolf?
No, Runtagun, I think that's who it was. But they took down the website and everything that you've seen from these people, how passionate they are about what they believe in, that a report tool took them down. Like that, why wouldn't they create another site? Why isn't there people demonstrating or protesting, or I see nothing in the real world. All I see is things on the internet.
Well, I think the real world, it carries a huge social stigma.
Well, yeah. Being on the internet is considerably safer, I guess.
Right, but I mean, you still see NAMBLA get out there and say, we want to fuck kids, and you can go, look, pieces of shit right there, verifiable pieces of shit. But with this Heart Progress people, other than some Twitter handles, a Google Plus page, and a defunct website, there's really nothing else out there. And that to me, that triggers that skeptical nature that I have to go, are these guys really legit? Because you can't just stop that kind of mentality that because I mean, if you're a pedophile, that's an urge. That's something that's just part of you. That's like, I like women, so like somebody reporting a website to take it down because I love women and I'm so passionate about women, I would just create another website.
I'm really passionate about sexuality, but I mean, it's most people can still have their desires and not act on them.
Right,
norm.
But if you feel like this is a norm for you and you feel like you're being oppressed, as they say that they are, that all of normal society is trying to oppress them and try to deem them as miscreants and abnormal. Like why haven't they pushed this issue even further and made another site and get a bigger web presence? And
well, I think a lot of them might have just, I mean, if it was me, well, I don't know, a lot of it, I mean, if I really, really wanted to fuck kids, little kids, like a lot, I just don't know. I mean, you think that, you know, like how a lot of the times you want to have sex, but then you just jerk off and you're like, okay, it's not ideal, but it does it for me for now. I mean, they probably have some version of that keeps a lot of them satisfied. Where I'm sure they all wish it was, you know, real, but I think a lot of them were just like, it's probably not going to happen, and it's not. I just have to live it out as a fantasy. And
I'm sure most of them are. It's just that we're seeing an increased. Well, I wouldn't say it was a massive amount of them, but we're seeing more and more of these.
It does seem to be popping up, yeah.
Pushing this kind of rhetoric, like that fucking. What's that woman's name who was pushing this shit?
Blair
White was talking about.
Yeah, I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff.
Rags is all about gaming.
I know.
Fucking kids, I want to get the highest score.
I'll try to find it because I got hit with a deluge of info about here's a bunch of shit, and I looked at all of it, and you know, I investigate further to see, you know, all right, do these people exist in real life? Which, you know, that's a hit or a miss with Twitter, because it could just be they're just giving a different identity just to hide their true identity. But, you know,
Lisa, you were about to say something. And
I've forgotten what I was going to say.
What do you think about this, Misa?
I don't know enough about it to really have an opinion, to be honest.
I just imagine, I mean, sex with a virgin already has, you know, it already is a lot of work. I imagine with an infant, it's even more work and effort. And I just, who wants to do that? Who wants to go through all that shit?
I don't really particularly want to think about that.
I know, right? What a hassle.
Oh, by the way, Rags, thank you for pointing me towards the Witcher 3 discount thing.
I bought
it earlier.
I'm almost going to buy it twice so I can have 2 copies.
This is my second copy. I've got it on PS4, and now I've got it on Steam as well with both major DLCs.
Yeah, the for those of you who don't know, if you live on this side of the pond in America land, it's $25 gets you The Witcher 3 and both the DLCs. And so you should be buying that now. And we'll give you a moment to go do that. Then you can come back, or you can listen to us while you do it, as long as you're doing it. I know one of you is it.
It's £17 here in the UK.
I got it for like $14.99 with all the DLC. I think it was back during like the winter sale.
I must have missed it.
I mean, it goes on sale every once in a while. It's 2 years old or something like that. I don't even know. When it comes to games and release dates of games, it's all a blur to me. It's tough for me to keep that kind of thing straight. I mean, if it's not within the last 6 months, chances are I don't know anything about it. It's just hard to keep it together. Like, I don't look forwards to games. I don't go out and try to find trailers for games I'm really interested in. I mean, even right now, even as big as I am into gaming, I really try not to get excited for things coming out, because, you know, gaming is all about hype and disappointment and lies and misleading this and and underplaying that and downgrading this.
Be a common trend amongst AAA titles these days, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Fuck
so
you,
now
Hello
I hear
Games.
about things, and they're just right over the horizon. I'm like, okay, I'll be interested in it. Or I talk to people who play games all the time, and they normally keep me in the loop somewhat.
Rags, I still can't figure out how you do your content the way that you do.
Movie Maker.
No. I don't care about the editing. And really, Movie Maker?
Movie Maker.
Really?
Really? Movie Maker.
Okay, fair enough. It's all free, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. No, your ability to talk for around 40 minutes.
Oh, that's just me. I'm just long-winded. Length is one of my specialities.
You know, I can talk a lot of bollocks, but if I did that, I'd have to edit out all the ums and ahs, and it would take.
Oh, it's no bollocks with me. It's all just it's all quality. Every single sentence, every syllable, it's dripping with importance. Every period brings the promise of a new.
See, the thing is, though, I laugh. It is, though. It is, and I'm not sucking Rags' dick as much as I'd like to, but because the fucker still won't give me that ass. Fucking cock tease. No, you talk for 40 minutes and you manage to provide us with something substantive every sentence, and I can't do that unless I write it.
Yeah, I've never really written anything. I mean, at most, what I might do is a bullet point here and there, especially when I'm talking about a game. I don't want to kind of leave things out there. And a lot of these videos, I do them as I go. I don't have really anything planned out. I just kind of do it as I go. So I'll be like with the video I had release earlier today. What I did was basically I just went through the article paragraph by paragraph and then just kind of just did it that way. And I was like, well, if the video is 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 52 minutes, 21 seconds, hey, it don't matter. It's how long is it?
That's a bit different, though, because you're responding to an article specifically. But many of your videos is you talking about a game. It's not always social justice or involved with gaming, or it's not always an article. Sometimes it's just you talking about the good and the bad about a specific game. Or what you don't like.
Yeah.
Hey Bear, the person you were wondering about is Jenny Lover 83. She's in the chat. I think that was the chick that you were talking about.
Which one?
Jenny Lover 83.
She says that she's a fucking missed it.
She says hi.
Colleague of Heart Progress, and we do not advocate for child abuse.
She says, Irate, you lack understanding regarding pedophilia. So educate yourself, you piece of shit.
What's there to educate myself on?
Look, just because you don't understand how a 12-year-old can't consent to maybe one of the most important things they could ever possibly do regarding their own lives. Look, you just don't understand. A 12-year-old can make that decision. Who are you to oppress a child like that?
I'm gonna have to leave because I'm getting a bit angry.
Don't leave, Lisa. It's fine. It's fine.
No, but you know that I like my feelings on this are pretty fucking strong.
I know. Did you want to talk about it or not?
No, because I'm gonna lash out.
Lash out then.
No, it's fine.
You sure?
We'll just get we'll get someone here who's we'll just get someone in here who's really popular, like Tucker Carlson or Onesian.
Onesian.
Yeah, Onesian.
Here's James Carter.
Onesian. Because I hear one of his greatest traits is his ability to empathize with other human beings. So this will be the perfect conversation for him.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was to sympathize with the fucking pedo. No, Misa, don't go. We don't have to continue talking about Heart Progress. I think, Gig, you've explained your position, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's I'm about 80% sure that it's either a troll or a honeypot to collect pedos.
Well, what you have to do is you have to ask them questions only a pedophile would know.
Well, yeah.
But then that would imply that I know know those questions, or I know those answers.
No, you could tell him you learned it from. Tell him you did research.
I'll be back in a moment, guys. My cat has managed to sneak its way into my kitchen. Just be back in a moment.
Well, what's wrong with fucking cats?
I like cats. She's just a dick. Come here.
Yeah, that James Carter's also in the chat. That was the guy I was trying to get an interview with, and he got all dodgy and quiet.
Come on, come here. There we go.
Pedosexuals are not monsters. They are people simply born with a different sexuality
No, but
than others.
that's the thing. If you're attracted to children, obviously you can't help that. But whether you act on it or not is a completely different matter. I did an extensive amount of research for a video on pedophilia, and it damages children, whether you like it or not. Whether it damages them immediately during the act or not, it will damage them mentally in the future, and they will be affected by it regardless. I'm sorry, there's no debate here. It does.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, there's no question that the long-term mental effects that child abuse, whether sexual or emotional or physical abuse, can be extremely harmful to later adult life. I mean, I've experienced through physical and emotional abuse, but you know, it's still, I'm 39 and I still have issues that I deal with because of those things.
I have well, judging by their comments, I really cannot tell whether they're being serious or whether they're trolling. So I think we should just leave it there.
I just remembered what I was going to say before. The way that Omnipolitics ended the stream of Andy Warski made me think that he was trolling. Like, you know how he had like that laughing? Kid in the background and he was laughing.
Yeah, he had his friend, and they were just like joking around with each other.
That made me think that he was trolling.
See, like, I get the type of trolling where you go on like streaming websites like YouNow, and then you raid like people when you give them shit. You go, they guessed you, and then you fucking shout Hitler was right or something like that.
Hitler did nothing wrong.
Hitler did nothing wrong, exactly. And then you've got this type, and it's not funny. It really isn't. I guess humor is subjective, but still.
I would like to think that they're real, just simply due to the fact that how shitty and how sad of a person are you to create this ideology and try to run with it just to upset people. That, like, how fucked up is your life?
Yeah, you know, even just a troll like that is this is fucked. Why? Like, there's 1,000 different ways you could troll someone, and you chose that way to troll them.
Yeah, I really hope I'm wrong, that these guys really do exist. So, you know, we have a target that we can take down, you know, but I don't know. There's just so many red flags I see in this organization and everything that I've looked at.
I guess we're not really going to find out, and that's the fucking issue here. There's no way we can, well, unless even if they come out and admit it, that's still not enough proof in my mind, because that could just be them trying to get you off their scent if they know you're trying to take them down. But I don't want to engage them anymore, because if they are trolls, then you don't feed the trolls, and if they're fucking pedos, you certainly fucking don't speak to them either, unless you want to debate and destroy them in front of an audience.
Yeah, like I was talking to Joy last night. I jumped on her stream for a little bit, and because she was talking to Omnipolitics, and she was talking about you know, the physical aspect and just about how wrong debating whether or not pedophilia is wrong, saying, you know, it's wrong. It's like, we don't need to debate that. We already know it's wrong. Yeah. You know, why don't you take an angle where you're getting behind the psychology of it and pick that person's brain and you know, figure out what makes them think the way they think. That would be a much more interesting topic to cover than debating whether or not pedophilia is wrong, just like debating whether or not Hitler was a cunt. You know, we all know he was a cunt.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying. And before we move on, I want to move on to the Far Cry 5 thing and the trolliage that has happened as a result of it. But before I do that, I just wanted to tell everybody that I recorded a Lord Bear video earlier, and it went better than expected. So you should expect that tomorrow evening. Rags, what do you think of my Lord Bear videos, if you've watched any of them?
I haven't really watched any of them yet.
You're not subscribed to me, are you?
Nope.
I didn't fucking think so. Subscribe to.
I'm not subscribed to most people I watch. Actually, my subscription list is actually really small, but I do a lot of browsing. I do a lot of going through, and yeah, I just don't sub to a lot of people. In fact,
Yeah,
I need to
I think that's the problem. I'm subbed to a lot of people, and I find it almost impossible to keep up with content.
And I mean, a lot of the times you just kind of fall out of, you just kind of like it. It's almost like it goes in phases. Like I had a Bible Reloaded phase, and I'd watched a lot of their stuff. Then I fell out of it, and then I got back into it, and it's just this weird sort of thing like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very similar in that respect as well. But Far Cry 5, Rags, go.
Far Cry 5. What part of it? What part of it are we talking about?
Well,
what specifically?
I mean, the art and trailers were released in the previous week and a half, weren't they? And I want to know what your opinions were from the moment the art was released up until the troll fake petition was released.
Regarding the game, I think it's very interesting. I like the setting. In fact, I'm more interested for this one than I have been for really any of the other ones. It's not that, tropical deserted islands in the middle of nowhere or, Curat or anything like that isn't nifty, but it's nice to see a more closer to home, familiar kind of setting that's really easy for you to put yourself in. And the idea that it's this ultra-conservative, messianic, religious Christian cult of doomsday. I mean, I think it's really, really cool, and they could do a lot of interesting stuff with it. They have had good antagonists in the past with Voss and Pagan Min, Jackal. So I'm interested to see how they're going to make this family that's kind of in charge of it all. And the side characters that are supposed to be your allies seem interesting too. The little shorts that they did that are like minutes something long each. They're all good. They're all interesting.
I think I've only watched the black fella, the preacher.
Yeah, there's a lady at a bar, and there's a dude with a plane.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware of their personality or what their positions are in regards to the story.
They don't like the cult people.
Yeah, I quite like the main trailer quite a bit.
Yeah,
I thought there were some really funny moments in there as well, like the guy being chased by a bear randomly.
Yeah, bears are no joke, but we got bears here in the U.S. We've got mostly for the most part it's black bears, and let me see.
Well, I've seen a few videos on that have gone viral on YouTube where like someone has been chilling out in their living room and they've looked out into their back garden and there's been like a fucking black bear rocking up and sitting in their pool or something.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you'll see bears. Like I've seen bears going out hiking and stuff, just kind of moseying around. But they're not. I mean, they're not. We don't get grizzly bears here for the most part. I think you have to get further north until you get them. So Alaska, Canada, maybe the northest parts of the U.S. can have grizzly bears, but I'm not certain. Of course, we don't have any polar bears, but really, it's mostly black bears, and they're the smallest of the three.
Oh, okay. You know our friend Egal Matro, the guy with the polar bear avatar.
Egal Matro,
yeah, he's
Egal Matro.
He uses face rig for his videos.
Yes, I know of him, but I don't know anything about him.
He used to live in the Arctic, and he said he's seen a few polar bears just wandering through town. He said that every time one does, the police have to come out and basically shoot it because if it sees anyone, it'll eat them.
Yeah, they're no joke. Polar bears can be. I mean, they're huge. Polar bears are massive. I mean, grizzly bears are massive, and polar bears are too.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to live in a town where they just rock up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I mean, I would. By the time you have to get that north, just the climate would put me off of it. I wouldn't want to live someplace that's always that cold, miserable. I hate the cold. Cold is for faggots.
Cold is for faggots.
Polar bears food selection so scarce that like they hunt and track, and they've hunted and tracked people. It's pretty dangerous living.
Yeah, I think I was watching one of those David Attenborough behind the scenes documentaries, and they had like a wildlife expert with them and told them they were being fucking tracked by a polar bear, so they had to fucking get the fuck out of Dodge pretty quickly, otherwise it would have eaten them all. Did you have bears near where you live, Geek?
I live in Florida. We do have bears, but
you have alligators, don't you?
Yeah,
alligators taste good, by the way.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. But
alligators.
Really, yeah, alligators.
They taste nice.
Yeah, like the big iguanas with the teeth. Yeah, they do taste good.
They literally taste like chicken.
They do actually kind of taste like chicken.
But like the only
I know what an alligator is, by the way. God.
The only bears that you're really gonna
fuck's sake.
The only bears that you're gonna find in Florida are typically bipedal, slightly hairy men. That's the types of bears that you're gonna find.
Some of them are super hot.
Yeah,
but for the most part, it's black bears that we get in the continental United States. But like with black bears, they're pretty timid as far as bears go. When there's a black bear and you want to get it to leave you alone, you make loud noises and you stand up as tall as you can. And you wave your arms around and you're just basically being an annoying twat, and it goes away because black bears aren't going to try to mess around with you. But grizzly bears, it's the opposite. With a grizzly bear, you pretend to be dead. You just hope it doesn't kill you.
I think I heard a story of a redneck punching a bear in the fucking nose.
I'm certain it's happened. I'm absolutely certain. As much as rednecks and bears run into one another, the statistical reality is that it has eventually happened. Absolutely. And if it's a black bear, I mean, yeah, they're huge, dangerous animals, but if you punched a black bear, it would probably run away.
Yeah, I don't know what exact breed of bear it was. I just remember seeing a news story that went viral on YouTube, and the guy he was very much a redneck. Y'all, the fucking bear came round here and he fucking punched it in the face and it fucked off. I think he called it an arsehole and then it went away. It was funny. It's not funny because I'm explaining it, but if you saw it, you'd probably laugh. But yeah.
I think on the list of things to do, punching a bear in the face is probably the last thing I would ever do in my life.
I wouldn't do it. I would say just avoid being. First off, don't be in a scenario where the option to punch a bear is even present, let alone the option you choose to take. There's a little bit of preventative measures in terms of bear. Is in terms of bear interaction, it goes a long way.
The closest thing I've ever come to an animal encounter properly was near an old derelict whaling station in South Georgia, 200 nautical miles southeast of the Falklands, and a seal. The ones that look really cute and are really fat. Came out and basically tried to charge me, which is kind of funny considering the things don't have arms or legs, just flaps. Sort of charged me waddling over, and what you have to do is you have to clap your hands really loudly and as hard as you can, and then they fuck off. And it actually worked. I've had a few elephant seals charge at me, but they're really, really fat and they're slow. So
they almost caught you.
They almost caught me because I'm also very, very fat and slow.
Oh.
I used to, my closest dangerous encounter was with an alligator. It was I used to work for AOL, and this is back at late 90s, early 2000s, and we had this retention pond in the back, but we had this 3-foot wall that separated us from alligators, and this is where we like eat lunch and shit. All it would take to get somebody dead quick is just trip on that wall, that little small retention wall that like goes up to halfway up to your ankle or your shin. Like every day I'm just like, is this going to be the day that some motherfucker gets eaten?
I've just realized that Misa's left the hangout.
Yeah, she said gonna drop out. I need some ice cream to reduce the triggering. Ha ha. Peace, Bear.
Well, was it chocolate ice cream?
I don't know. She didn't specify.
Well, chocolate ice cream is fantastic.
That's racist.
I know. I am slightly racist. Misa's actually probably more racist than me.
It's a little harder for me to be interested in brown cocks, but I'm not saying it can't happen.
I'm saddened by that, Rags.
No, it just means it's harder to get, but
I'm very light.
It's like someone who has very, very few friends and they're very serious about those friends. You know, that means if they do get a friend, it's a very serious friend. It means they have a really special bond.
I like to think that we have a special bond.
Truly nobody that I know has the same bond that we have. Definitely not. You're definitely unique in that regard.
Well, I know that I say stuff on Twitter and then you have a go. that seems to be our relationship.
That's not exclusive to you.
Yeah, well, I know. Don't know. So yeah, Far Cry 5, because we ended up talking about wildlife instead. What else did you think about it? And then the drama that ensued.
Well, the article that was the fake article, the fake petition. Apparently, it was. I mean, it was fake, and everybody leapt on it, and they spread it because there's this cabal, if you will, of video game journos. Just like back in the Gamers Are Dead days, they all decided to hop on this whole thing at once and coordinate articles about it. Nobody went to check. Nobody did anything like that. And so they all wrote a bunch of articles about this bullshit petition just designed to get attention. And I think I was listening to Ian Miles Chong do some tweets and stuff about it. And I think, if I'm not...
wasn't it only Forbes who actually bothered to actually look into it?
Pretty much. I think it was only like one of them. But in terms of... Let me go to his tweets here. I think it originated from... Let me see. It originated from a Facebook group of whom the administrators, multiple administrators, are actually people who work at IGN.
Oh.
So, basically, yeah. I mean, but I haven't ever been. I have not been a fan of the mainstream video game journalism for a long time. Long time.
Yeah, it's been garbage.
It's a shit show.
For the past 10 years, it's been garbage.
I remember when I used to buy things like PlayStation Magazine or the PC one as well, years and years and years ago, and I thought they were usually quite fair back then. There was no politics in it involved whatsoever. Seems to be a reoccurring theme these days.
Yeah, everything's sexist, everything is problematic. Ugh. That woman, Jesus Christ! Find something else to do.
Video on Anita Sarkeesian, didn't you?
Me?
Yeah.
I've done one. I think I've done 2 videos, and I did a live stream with some people.
Didn't you? Wasn't it Anita's like final video?
Something. It's her final video until our next one, I guess. Like it's the end of her Tropes First Women in Video Games series. I think it's the last one of that series. But she said she's going to be doing more stuff.
But didn't she not make all of the videos that she was paid to make?
I don't think so. And she made like $400,000+ one year, and it just, where is it, and what did we get as a result? And it's a mess.
She had to work on her eyebrows.
She had to objectify herself for the male gaze.
Yeah, she admitted, didn't she, that she doesn't even like gaming.
No, it's never. She said it was never about games. It was always about social justice. And beforehand, she said she basically never played games. Didn't know anything about games. She had to learn about games. She just picked the target of video games, and she picked gamers as the one to demonize and the ones to play identity politics with.
Yeah.
And so now the internet hates her.
I think I only ever watched one or two of her videos. I think one of them was on Tomb Raider. And I can't remember for the life of me what the other one was.
Well, the horrible one was the Hitman one, where she acted like putting that stripper into killing her and putting her in a box.
She said in Hitman Absolution, you are encouraged to kill women, even though the game punishes you for killing people who aren't your target, and it actually makes it harder for you to play the mission if you try to go around and kill people who are not the target. And you can kill anybody regardless of whether or not they're men or women. And the section that she had was a section which was a ladies' dressing room, basically, for like a show production. And you could go back there, and they would be, changing, and they sit in front of mirrors and doing makeup, getting all, prepped up to go out and do the show. So that's the part that she chose. And it's the same thing with Grand Theft Auto. In Grand Theft Auto, you can kill anybody. So, of course, that means it's misogynist because you can kill women.
Pagan in the chat just mentioned Elder Scrolls 6. And I just have to say that if an Elder Scrolls 6 was announced, I'd probably explode with cum.
I don't really care much about Bethesda games anymore. I mean, I'll be
Nobody asked for your opinion, Rags. I'm joking. Carry on.
I'll be interested to see what they have, but maybe my next video or the one after the Prey video will be about what they need to learn from Fallout 4 and where they went wrong and what they abandoned that they needed to keep. Because vanilla Fallout 4 is pretty not great. It takes a lot of mods and a lot of balancing and a lot of effort to really make that game shine.
I always felt, after a few playthroughs of Fallout 4, I felt that they were relying too heavily on the modding community.
Oh yeah. I couldn't get through a single playthrough without mods. I got about 50 hours in, and I had to I opened up Nexus, installed it. It's really easy to get that stuff running, and I just boop, mod. And I played the game, and I got it all running, and it was doable. It was finally doable, and I wanted to play, and I wanted to explore. And then I found all the places, and I'm like, I'm done now.
I just don't have time for another Elder Scrolls game. Like it just takes over my life.
Yeah, it's around 2,000 hours of gameplay usually. And that's exactly the thing. I just bought The Witcher 3 again with all the DLC, and I'm intending on playing it, and you're probably not going to see much content from me in the fucking future.
I still yet to play Witcher 3, and I bought it back in December because I'm just intimidated by the amount of time that I know I'm going to sink into that game.
The Witcher 3, I've played it through a couple times. I've not played Blood and Wine yet, though. I will admit that. I've played the other DLC.
I haven't played Blood and Wine yet either, but I just don't. It's like I don't want to. I don't want to play it and then have it all be over.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 is by far the most spectacular game to have ever been created ever.
Yeah,
it's my favorite game of all time.
CD Projekt Red, man, they're a good development team. I'm really excited about the Cyberpunk game that's going to be coming out too.
Oh, I've not seen that. You know what? I'd love to stream The Witcher 3, but there's big titties in it.
Yeah, it's in the game, so it shouldn't be any big issue. I mean, you could go to YouTube and find all the sex scenes and everything.
The sex scenes are good as well, by the way.
They're very good.
Hmm?
They are very good.
Yes, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed them. I think I played it through 3 times before I even realized there was an extra sex scene that I completely fucking missed. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm so glad that they actually put in sex scenes as opposed to in the first Witcher game where they had the cards. It just felt so weird, like going around getting the cards. I remember playing it. And my girlfriend at the time walked up. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like,
I quite enjoyed the card games.
"Well, no, I'm talking about how like when you'd have sex with somebody, it would like show like a
Oh, was it a mini game?
In a way, it was just it wasn't. It meant nothing. I mean, like you can go and just get either your like 2 or 3 cards, sex cards. But like I was like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna spread my impotent seed, my sterile seed around to everything. I was like, a dryad? I'll fuck that.
Yeah, I like The Witcher 3 allows you time to fap. Yeah, there's no fucking around. But I do quite enjoy Gwent, and I like a lot of the mini games that are in The Witcher. There's an incomparable amount of shit to do. It takes a long time to finish the story if you like your side quests and looking for stuff, and there's a lot to find. And I love how when you make a choice very early in the game, it comes back to bite you on the ass way later in the game.
Oh yeah.
So you have to kind of think. The Paragon choice isn't always the best choice if you like to play Paragon, of course.
I think though that Witcher 3 does morality in pretty much the best way you can, where it's all narrative.
Yeah, most of it is gray.
Well, no, I mean like the way they track I mean there are sometimes very obvious good and bad things that I'm talking about the way it doesn't restrict you on the choices you can make based on some sort of a bar or a meter. Like in Fallout, you had a karma bar, and
they removed that for Fallout 4.
They took that out, and I think it works good in a Fallout sort of game. And they also have like a Paragon and Renegade and Mass Effect, or charisma checks, things like that. Whereas in The Witcher, you just make the decisions based on the situation, and the situations and scenarios were so well crafted that you chose based on your feels.
Yeah. No,
it was you haven't done enough good things. That means that for whatever reason, you can't choose this good thing option now.
Yeah. And I like how a lot of the choices aren't obvious.
Yeah.
Whereas in games like Mass Effect, for example, they it's your choices of most of the time quite obvious. But yeah, The Witcher 3 is a stunning, massive world to sort of do whatever the fuck you want, I guess. It's quite interesting. Lots of different ways to sort of make money and upgrade your kit and get new equipment. And to get like the special Witcher gear, you have to go like fucking serious hunting. And
well,
I like how the game sort of level. It keeps you at a certain level as well. Like it says that what we know at the beginning of the game, you'll often get like monster hunting quests, and it will say you that you shouldn't go for it because you need to be this level.
I didn't like that. I hate that. That's a part I really do not like in games. I don't like a game. Not the leveling, but bad level scaling, which vanilla Witcher has. That's a fault that the original Witcher, the vanilla Witcher 3 has, is level scaling. Not so much the limit as in terms of a ceiling, but the limit as all of a sudden, if you do things, it doesn't actually take a lot, but if you do a lot of side things or a decent amount of side things, very quickly you become over leveled, and a lot of the stuff becomes extremely easy, or it gives you basically no experience for doing it.
Yeah. So you're saying it should have had a system like
everything should scale to
Elder Scrolls and Fallout games have where as you level up.
Well, no, those do it shit too, and that's one of the things I had to balance the crap out of in Fallout 4. In Skyrim, it was terrible in Skyrim. Everything should scale to your level always, and you should in the setting of difficulty that you have should adjust how they are compared to you. So it's not like like in Fallout 4, especially when you start off, you'll cross a magic invisible barrier where all of a sudden the enemies will just murderize you, and there's nothing you could do. And it's clearly it's clearly trying to lasso you or to herd you in a certain direction, which makes me wonder what's the point of having an open world if the game is trying to push me in a certain direction. And New Vegas, for as good as New Vegas was, New Vegas did have the problem that for being an open world game, the first bit of that game was very much you need to go in this direction and you have to go through this path.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and trying because you come out from the original town, don't you? And if you go north,
yeah, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
You just can't do it. It's clearly an open road and a huge open stretch, but the enemies are so high leveled they might as well have just put a huge barrier there and like a mountaintop. And in games like, I mean, it works in MMOs because MMOs have very specific zones that have very specific levels that have specific loots to them. And when you have a game like again in The Witcher, it would be so easy for you to get over leveled, or the problem would be in a game like what would it be? It would be in God, I was thinking, with Skyrim, for instance. You would just run into an enemy that you couldn't beat, and they would always be there. I know I had a playthrough in Skyrim where I wanted to play as like, a big, strong orc with heavy armor, and I'd hit people in the face with swords and things. Just really simple because I normally was like a sneaky character or a mage, but it quickly became unplayable because by that time I kind of knew the ins and outs of the game, and I had gotten myself really good equipment really early because I knew where the stuff was, and I crafted it myself. And so the first time I step out of Whiterun, there's bandits on the road fully decked out in magical armor, in glowing warhammers and shit, who would one-hit kill me. And the dragon fight was basically impossible because of the way the scaling was fucked up based on what I was wearing, even though I was really low level. And it was
I know exactly what you mean there, because you'd go into Whiterun and you'd try to, you'd level up fuck tons because you would do, smithing skill and that type of shit, or alchemy skill or stuff like that. And, you don't have any skill towards your one-handed, two-handed, or heavy armor or light armor, and you go out and then you get raped.
Yeah, in terms of skills per individual weapons, and I think Fallout 4 missed a huge opportunity here with how shitty its survival mode is, where it has a good survival mode. It has a good concept, but I had to do a lot of work and tweaking with mods to get survival to be a good mode, because Fallout does have the problem of being very bullet spongy with some of its enemies. So you could be right in front of a mud crab or whatever, or like a mirelurk is what they're called. And you could have a double-barreled shotgun, and you could shoot it in the face twice with a double-barreled shotgun, but only a fourth of its health is gone, and it's just going to hit you with one of its claws once, and now you're dead, even though you shot it point blank with a 12-gauge shotgun, and it didn't stumble or stop, and for some reason it didn't do like any damage, because it's all about numbers. And I liked that about the MMO Guild Wars 2, because it seemed to be less about you finding the best way to make your numbers better and more about you kind of being good at crowd controlling and dodging and using your abilities better. And Fallout really fails, or at least vanilla Fallout 4 fails a lot in the aspect of it needs to be about you being good instead of not necessarily, oh, I just have to make all my numbers better so I could beat this enemy, because it's all about just pumping rounds after rounds after rounds into a Deathclaw or a Mirelurk or a certain kind of bandit, because it just has a huge health pool for some reason. And even though I'm shooting him in the head with pistols and I'm being sneaky and doing stuff like that, no amount of creativity can overcome the obstacle that is just the sheer health pool that some enemies will have out of the blue. It's like, oh, you're walking along a lake and all of a sudden two Mirelurk hunters just pop out of the ground. And you think you're just going to kill them like everybody else with your shotgun. No, they're going to murder you. And in survival, that means you might have to go back 10 minutes worth of work if you hadn't slept someplace. Another reason why I turned on auto-saving for survival, because that's just a stupid limitation that doesn't add anything.
I get you. Before I'm doing these nightly streams, just because I'm finding it harder and harder to produce daily content these days. And I'm trying to keep them relatively short, not as long as my previous streams that you've been in, Rags. Geek, is there anything more you want to add regarding heart progress before I end the stream?
I mean, there's really not much else to say than what I already said. But one thing I guess I can say is, like, because I got put in a position where people were saying I was defending pedophiles because I questioned their legitimacy.
Yeah.
That one kind of irked the shit out of me. But like, I'm more than open to, if there's actual evidence out there that shows that they're a real and legit group of people, that I'm more than willing to say, well, I guess I was wrong. But you know, I just need more evidence than some defunct Twitter accounts and website to show me that that they're a legit group other than trolls.
Yeah, I get you. I don't think there's anything wrong with just questioning that, you know, their behavior, whether they are trolls or not. I seem to have seen a little bit of behavior, you know, in the chat, you know, from them, and they kind of sound like trolls. I can't be 100% sure, but like I said, RedSec are looking into it, and they'll find out soon enough. So I'll get back to you as soon as I know, mate.
Cool.
Okay, it's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you very much to all my wonderful guests. And thank you all very much for joining us this evening. I've been the Irate Bear. It's been Rags, Geek, Thulu, and Miss Misa, and we'll see you next time. Peace.